Hey Kickstart, this is Ethan. It is September 28th, and this week's topic is bullying. I have attempted to make this video countless times, and either I speak on for 25 minutes, or I just ramble about anything and don't actually get to the point. So, I'm trying again, and I'm going to try to be succinct. I'm also going to try to remember the things that I wanted to say. So, in a broad way, this is about our culture. I think we have a culture of bullies, a culture of bullying, and we need to be better about changing that. We have politicians that are bullies. We have news media that are packed with bullies. We have celebrities that act the fool and that we celebrate as they, are cruel to others. And I think that needs to change. I think we need to kind of cultivate a culture of compassion and, generally treat people with kindness, and then we should require our 13 and 14-year-olds to do the same. And at the moment, that's not the case. At the moment, we promote this culture of bullying, and then we say to our 13 and 14-year-olds, hey, pull it together, stop being mean. And I just don't think that works. So I think it's a huge problem just culturally. Unfortunately, that doesn't help the kid today at home who feels picked on. And so we also have to start with those kids as well. So I'm going to, start with what it was like for me when I was a kid. And I was really lucky. I had a lot of support in my life. So that's kind of the bottom line, which was that I came out of my school years in one piece, and that was due to the friends and just the support system that I had. I came out as gay when I was a senior in high school. And it really was the end of my senior year, and I wasn't really too vocal about it. I did have a relationship by the end of that year that, many people knew about, but I didn't go out of my way to advertise it. Not that I was trying to hide anything. I just, at that point, had decided I really couldn't care less what people thought. And so I didn't really have a dialogue with anybody about it, except for my friends. But I wasn't really hiding it either at that point. Up until the point where I was out, though, I had a lot of trouble, which was mostly internal. I judged myself pretty harshly when I was, trying to come out, because I took a lot of religious teachings to heart and judged myself. I thought that I was crazy or something. I don't know. I don't know what was up with my head, but I tend to do this, I guess. I have this way of, instead of validating myself first and then, trying to evaluate other people based on what I know about myself, I validate that public opinion and then decide that I must be crazy. I don't do it as much anymore, thankfully, but I did when I was a kid. So I had trouble accepting the fact that I was gay. And what helped me was that I had a teacher that I could turn to. And this sounds self-serving because I am a teacher now, and when I go back to, hey, if you're feeling this way, you should talk to a teacher, it's not just because I am a teacher, it's really more because I had a teacher that cared for me And she didn't really get much choice in the matter, because I guess I kind of selected her to be the one I was going to tell everything to. But it was because she was compassionate, and she treated people with respect, and she listened to people. I remember a number of times listening to her have conversations with students who vehemently disagreed with her point of view, and she had compassion. She listened to them. She asked them questions. She tried to guide them, towards what, she might imagine was a better way of thinking, but she didn't force that process, and she certainly didn't she didn't treat them like their point of view wasn't valid. It was just a means of dealing with other people through compassion that made her accessible. And I was really incredibly lucky for that. I think it makes all the difference in the way that I view that time of my life, because it's one of those things where I know if I could go back in time and change it, I don't think I would. Even though I went through that period where I was kind of rough to myself, I came out of it really strong, and I met, some of the people that have meant the most to me in my life. So I guess that's the bottom line, is I was really lucky to have her. But it's also not easy for me to talk about myself. So it took writing some really crappy poems and vague messages about myself till I could finally work up the courage to come out. But immediately doing so, I had this huge weight lifted off my shoulders. And I started to, once the words were out there and people could hear them, I started to believe that I was worthy of love and respect and kindness. And I started to own that. And then I could portray that to the world, that sense of confidence and self-worth. But it really took it took saying those things out loud. It took asserting myself, because it required so much strength to do that I built up the strength and then had it. But I just feel very lucky for that time in my life, because there were people who picked on me, said things walking down the hall, said things about me, but I never let it define me, and that is entirely because I had those people in my life. And when I wasn't in school, I was on message boards online. It was the late 90s. Wow, that's crazy to say. It was the late 90s. No, that's not that long ago. I'm not that old. I went online. I found message boards. This is going to sound completely dorky, but I was on an Indigo Girls message board pretty much every night, talking to lesbians. Made me feel good. Made me feel like part of a community. And that was a good thing for me. And honestly, if you're young and you're going through that now, and you're watching videos like this, then you're a step ahead of me, and you're on the right track. I hope this helps, because it did help me. It helped me to talk to and to listen to people who are like me. Or similarly different, if that makes sense. So, what should you do if you are feeling like school is a bad place to be? I hope you have a teacher you can talk to. And I like to think it's going to be your English teacher, because it's what I do, and I know I would want to help you. But it could be a coach, it could be, a gym teacher, a guidance counselor, school social worker. I mean, it really could be anybody. It's that person who smiles at you when they see you. Talk to them. I can't guarantee that you're going to find that person that does all the things for you that, I was lucky enough to have in my life, but it's a good start, because they're right there in in the midst of it. They're the ones that have the policies in place in their school to help you, to back up what's going on and to try to stop it with actual policy, with, actual consequences for people that are doing something wrong. So, I really hope you have that. And if you don't have that, then you need to just, talk to us online. Send messages, write comments, and let us talk to you. Let us help you. At least feel like you have that community, because you do. Because we're here for you. And a lot of people have been through, elements of what you're going through. I said that this is a topic that I'm passionate about, and it's just that every time I turn on the news and hear of somebody who's taken their life because of bullying, because they were made to feel like they weren't worth living, that their life wasn't worth it, or that they didn't add value, or have value, that it just breaks my heart. And it's partly because I work with kids every day, and I'm there and I see them, and I know that if I didn't have somebody on my side, I could have easily felt so bad about myself, that maybe I would have felt that way too, and that is just a horrible thing to imagine, because I know that my life has been so worth living, and I want kids to realize that there is going to be something that will make them feel good about themselves. And if it's not happening today, that does not mean it will not come. It will. You'll get there. There's a really great video online of Calpurnia Adams talking about hope. I'm going to find the link and put it in the information. It's a long video. But at one point she says, and I'm probably going to mangle this, but she says that steel isn't created in a comfortable way. That steel is forged in the fires. And I think that's what a lot of us go through, is that we go through these really hard times, but it builds us up so strong. We come out of it so much stronger for having been through that. I don't think that we should have to go through it. I think we should have the privilege of being weak. But we can, also rest comfortably in the knowledge that, we're worthy, that we're valuable, and that we are strong people. And if you're not feeling strong, talk to us online. I think it's really important that you find the people in your life who will support you, because, you can rest on our shoulders. If you're feeling weak, if you're feeling run down, if you're feeling put down, then rest on the shoulders of people who care about you. And we're here. I can say without a doubt, I don't even know you, and I care about you, because I think that every person is valuable and has something to give and should live a full life. That's what I think. So I will add to the info here, my personal channel. Feel free to write to me there or here, whatever. I will add a link to my profile on Transqueer Nation, because that might be a good place for you to find people to talk to, feel like you do. I'll put as much information as I can think of down there.